Chugging along thanks to the amazing AI team at Tesla. But what's going on with Uber and all of those things, their potential partnership? Are they crazy? Have they lost what was left of their minds? And for that matter, what would happen if people stopped driving their cars entirely? Could we avoid terrible, terrible crashes? I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So we've got this little story here from Not a Tesla App. I assume that's because if they called themselves a Tesla app, there would be problems. Tesla loves doing that. Tesla updates FSD roadmap, talks version 13. So we had this big announcement in, I think, August, where they shared their original timeline. They said in September, we'd get 12.5.2 with 3x improved miles between critical interventions, 12.5.2 on Hardware 3, AI 3, computer, unified models for AI 3 and 4, actually Smart Summon, Cybertruck, eye tracking with sunglasses, end-to-end network on highway, and Cybertruck FSD, and we got all of those, even Cybertruck FSD. It went out a few days before, and everyone said, well, that doesn't count. It doesn't count until I get it. Matt Wallace, great guy, said, doesn't count unless I get it. He got it. Everyone did. Nearly everyone, or I think, no, actually everyone. The 12.5.2 was released. It was released on Hardware 3. Actually, Smart Summon, I got that for the first time in all my year of Tesla ownership and having paid for the FSD for most of it, or at least subscribed to it. I got actually Smart Summon. It's a neat party trick. I may use it on days when it's absolutely downpouring. Cybertruck Auto Park received eye tracking with sunglasses, which is fun because it's not exactly tracking your eyes. It's doing its best, but it's not as naggy as it was before. And it's great because you no longer have to choose between sunglasses and hands-free. You could have still driven hands-on with sunglasses, but hands-on driving, what am I, a caveman? End-to-end network on highways, if you say so. I can't tell the difference. And in October, we were expecting unpark, park, and reverse in FSD. Didn't happen. And version 13 with a 6x improvement between miles between necessary interventions. We did not see that. And they also had said in Q1, we should see FSD in Europe and China, both of which pending regulatory approval. Musk also replied to Tesla's post saying that hopefully right-hand drive markets will also get FSD in Q1 or 2. So which of those did they meet? Most of them. They got most of them, as we just discussed. Tesla managed to check off their September goals with a perfect score, nailing all of them. And they also released FSD in a unified model for Hardware 3 and AI 4. Although it seems like good news may have stopped there, at least temporarily. But they did say that Hardware 3 owners will get a free upgrade to more capable hardware if Tesla isn't able to achieve unsupervised FSD on those vehicles. It's not saying it's going to happen. It's not going to say, oh, well, I'm on Hardware 3 and I've been left behind. Guys, I've been on Hardware 4 this whole time, and I was usually the last to get an update. Did I think I was never going to get it? Come on. Although the company met its September milestones, the others have been delayed. So what's coming? Complete rollout of end-to-end and version 13. And some other things that are going to be just rolled into, apparently, version 13, which we should see any day if it hasn't already come out by the time this is released. I'm recording this yesterday, I think, or the day before, depending. So probably hasn't been released. It's, I think, internal. The rest of Tesla's post was dedicated to FSD version 13, and they provided a lot of specifics. Great. I promise you there's more to this than this one article. There's a lot. So why don't we just, FSD arrival options? Yeah, unpark, reverse, park itself. That's a missing piece of the FSD puzzle. Getting in and out of the parking spot. If the human is not going to be involved, clearly you can't have the car in motion when it's activated. Otherwise, the pilot drivers would have to jump out, which is something that's reserved for the pilots who navigate the ships through shallow waterways in the rivers. Let's not go that route. But let's talk about Uber. Uber had their own self-driving division. until an unfortunate accident caused them to reevaluate and eventually sell off that division entirely. Why Uber stock hit an all-time high right after robotaxi's rollout. Ooh, this is spicy. Shares of Uber and Lyft jumped on Friday after Tesla's introduction of its new robotaxi failed to live up to ride-sharing investors' fears. They noted that the much-anticipated event was light on details. And that could be because the details are not ready. It could be because the details are proprietary. And it could be because the event started late due to not one, but two medical emergencies. Now, Tesla's toothless robotaxi event, a positive for Uber. I made some comments at the time that the event was light on details and that was likely why investors were not super jazzed. None of these events move the stock. When you see Tesla hold Battery Day, Investor Day, AI Day, it never moves the stock. A lot of cynics, and I don't say critics because they're not, they'd have to think critically to do that, express their cynicism by saying it's a pump and dump. Well, in order for that to be a pump and dump, you'd have to first pump the stock, which it never does, and then you'd have to dump the stock, which Elon doesn't really do. He did to purchase Twitter at the time, now X, also to pay his taxes, the biggest tax bill in history, but he doesn't generally sell the stock. And you have to announce the sale so far in advance to prevent exactly that. Pretty cynical, pretty cynical. So let's look at just how robust Uber's bump was. Here we are, October 11th. That's a big day of gain, you guys. 11% almost in one day, and it's fallen since. That's a sugar high. That's a sugar high. If we go and look at how Tesla's done, here's their October 11th, down 8, almost 9%. Big bump on earnings, but still down for the month. Almost not at all. Flat, I guess you could say. Whereas Uber for the past month, also flat, up 0.52. So those are not big things to worry yourself about. So we've got a few more stories, but I did want to mention real quick, if you love the channel, if you want to help me out, if you're able to, don't help me if you're not able to. I don't want your money in those cases, but if you get value, it would be appreciated if you could become a channel member on YouTube, a subscriber on X, or a Patreon member, because that's how I am able to do these things, go places, all that good stuff. And I appreciate it. I'm full-time. This is a lot of work, and I'm out here doing my best to bring you unfiltered, unhyped reality. Hype pays good money. I'd rather sleep well at night. And in order to do that, I need a pillow. So help me buy a pillow. Uber CEO says competing with Elon Musk is no easy matter and would love to partner with Tesla on robotaxis. Smart move. We know it's a smart move. We knew it was something that would need to happen. Uber doesn't have their own self-driving division. I think Uber would be wise to bank on everyone to make tentative partnerships with whomever may solve it first and cheapest. If Waymo is going to be building $150,000 cars and Tesla's going to be building $25,000 cars, guess which one's going to make more money? Exactly. So we knew that was coming. Then we've got this little bit of news. Choose your vehicle, get verified, and eligible Uber drivers who purchase a 3 or Y can get 1,000 in Tesla credits upon taking delivery and a $1,000 Uber reward after completing 100 trips. Now that $1,000 reward, it is not stackable. So if you're looking to use a referral ID, you can't use your buddy's or your mom's or mine. You would have to use theirs to get that 1,000. And it's just the one credit. It doesn't stack. But the $1,000 Uber credit for 100 trips, and those trips have to be done by, I think, the end of February. Let's see, take delivery by December 31st and do your trips by February 15th. That's not bad, man. That's 45 days at minimum to do 100 rides, 2 rides a day. Go out on a weekend, do 10. Do that on 5 weekends. You're done. And that's a $10 per ride credit that you get over and above the ride. And it's great because you're still getting paid for those 100 rides. So you might make thousands. You might get your entire down payment back over the course of the first couple months. That's a pretty good deal. And I think right now, if you use my referral ID, my referral code, I think you only get 500. So if you are an Uber driver, definitely use this first. And I've seen people say, well, what kind of person would buy a brand new Tesla and then go out and Uber? Lots. It's not the rich man's car it once was. It's an everyman's car now. Based on the price, based on the average selling price of all autos in the US, it's cheaper than a lot of cars out. So if you could get the $7,500 IRA plus the $1,000 plus the next $1,000, $9,500 off, plus whatever you got for the fares, the first 100 fares that you do. It's a pretty exciting system. Uber, not a sponsor. And based on some of the things I've said about Uber, fair to say, they're not going to be a sponsor. Now, the last bit of news, and I'm sad to share this, Tesla Cybertruck crashes, overturns, and tears apart in Guadalajara. This is very sad news. This is quite a wreck we're looking at here. You can see speed may have played a factor. This was shot at 6 a.m. after, I assume, a night of not sleeping, perhaps. Tesla pickup was torn to pieces after a serious crash and rollover on the streets of Guadalajara. This is a second incident in recent days with a luxury car of this type. The other was recorded last Friday in Mexico City. The one in Mexico City is nothing like this. It's just a front end crumple. It might even be in this article. But you can see this car is in bad shape. Worth noting, 4 passengers, 4 occupants, 4 injuries, no deaths. The only serious injury was from a passenger who was ejected because they were not wearing a seatbelt. And this is the one in Mexico City. You went too fast and you did a bonk. No one is going to be, that is not on the level of that one. When these are self-driving, these things will become a thing of the past, because in both of these cases, excessive speed was in play. A robotaxi is not going to exhibit the same penchant for excessive speed. It's not going to happen in the same way, but the beauty is you had your family in the safest car ever built. The safest, we don't know if it's the safest ever built, but it's the safest brand. We'll find out soon enough how safe these are. But to see an accident like this, where the vehicle is absolutely shredded and no one died, that's good engineering. And also notice, no fire on either of these. So your concerns should be put to rest a bit. So that's not too bad. Guys, what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it all in the comments below and stay tuned, stay juicy. I cannot wait. I can't wait. I just can't do it. To hear from you clever robots in the comments.